I mean, they're really like, they need this to happen, you know, because they're feeling the effects of climate change. So.
But obviously we've known about this problem, and the politicians have known about this problem 30, 40 years.
Yep.
And failed to act, basically.
Yes, but you see, to quote George Monbiot,
yeah.
For a good many of those years, you and I have been bombarded with the naysayers and the professional denial industry.
Well, indeed, we still are.
You are, but they're fucked. This is their last stand.
The Battle of the Bulge, yeah. I wrote something yesterday describing this as the Battle of the Bulge for the climate change deniers.
Meaning what?
Where they have an impressive counter-attack on what is a mainstream inevitability, but it's crushed very quickly and crumbles and has to succumb to the overwhelming weight of evidence which is out there from the scientific community.
Well, we say that, but yet, you know, our film The Age of Stupid was screened on the BBC earlier this week, and then they had a debate following it. We're going to see a clip in a minute, where they were saying that, you know, it's still open.
The BBC have this hang-up about being impartial. When we launched the Friends of the Earth, when we launched the climate bill campaign with Friends of the Earth, we were literally competing with these people, you know, that every time we went on. I know. But honestly, this is some weird BBC statute hang-up thing. Ignore them, all right? They're a bunch of
we
monkeys.
Can't ignore them. They're public service broadcaster.
But that's the whole point. The public service broadcasting, they've got some hang-up in their remit about trying to be balanced. Nobody wants to know. These fucking monkeys being paid by the oil companies. No one wants to know. You know, everybody would like to feel this is going away. You know, everyone would like to feel better about it, but it's not going away. The BBC have just got some blind spot. Just ignore it.
I think they've got some editors who
That's
possibly
what I'm saying.
they probably
fucking
aren't up
monkeys,
to the job. They aren't up to the job. You know, I got a call the other evening from Radio 5 Live and invited to go on and debate with some climate change denier. And I said, you know, what is the credentials of this person? You know, are they a climate change scientist with some track record? And the woman said, well, he was on Sky TV this morning. This was his qualification.
Research done.
Exactly, qualifications to get on.
Actually, the postman.
It's quite incredible, but I do think, you know, that this balance thing, which they're obsessed by, and trying to put both sides of the argument. I said to her, you know, would you have somebody on who would say it's good to smoke tobacco because it's not bad for your health, or you know, some of the worst excesses?
They're not that bad.
Exactly, because there are two sides to every argument, but some arguments you don't put the other side because it's socially damaging.
But also,
and on this
there's
one, it couldn't be
99.
more.
If there's 99 scientists on one side and one on the other,
I know,
then
exactly.
have balance. You'd have 99 times more of that side than the one, not one. For
exactly,
me.
indeed, that's another good point.
You just gotta.
Ignore
ignore the motherfuckers.
Well, I think maybe it's time to have a campaign on the BBC to put together a proper. What about a proper legal argument linked to the statutes of the BBC, where we could put together a complaint about the amount of airtime.
You know who'd be up for it, don't you? Ed Miliband.
Ed would
he
be up for
can't
it.
stand it. It's driving him as much. The government. The government hate it as much as we do.
That's a good point, actually. So anybody out there listening who's got the skills to construct such a complaint,
you were going to do it.
Working very much with the BBC statutes. Have a look at the BBC statutes out there, people in the world with an internet connection right there. See if it says something that we can use to make a formal complaint to the Board of Trustees of the BBC.
It's a bit of homework for you.
As to why they did change. Yeah, it could be my little girl watching. Maddie, do you fancy having a go at that?
I was thinking more of a lawyer than your little girl.
Yeah, well, she's clever.
We're going to come back to these two. But first we're going to have a video of George Monbiot talking about exactly all these issues. So I think the numbers now are that 60% of the UK population and 43% of the US population think that there's still doubt that climate change is partially man-made. Shit, I've just realised the UK is worse than America. We've overtaken America. Oh, God. Which is obviously a disaster because the science is more like 99% or even more. So what do you think the role of the media is in that?
Well, for years now, the media has been creating a debate about whether climate change is taking place or not, which isn't reflected at all in the scientific literature. This debate exists only within the media and on the internet and amongst people in pubs, but it doesn't exist in scientific journals. And the reason for that is the scientific evidence is so massively overwhelming that man-made climate change is taking place and is a big deal. And in doing this, the media has completely played into the hands of the fossil fuel industry, because the whole effort of the campaign by them is to seed doubt. They can't win on the science, that's just impossible. But what they can do is confuse people as much as possible and create the impression that there is a debate to be had on the science. So what does the media do? It comes along and says, oh, there's a debate to be had on the science. They might as well be employed by Exxon. The BBC might as well be funded and run by Exxon, the way it's been an unacknowledged public relations company for Exxon doing precisely what the oil company wants it to do.
And you probably don't know what the BBC did yesterday, which is what I was just about to tell you about, which is they screened our film The Age of Stupid in full, and then last night they had a debate, and they had 3 people on the debate. Admittedly, they did ask me and I couldn't do it because I was in Copenhagen, but they had 3 people, 1 real climate scientist, and then Richard Lindzen and Björn Lundberg for at least half an hour on BBC. What do you think about that? During Copenhagen.
Well, I have to say it doesn't surprise me. Richard Lindzen is an outright climate change denier. As far as I know, he says that man-made global warming is not taking place. Björn Lundberg accepts that it is taking place, but he says we don't need to do anything about it. We'd be much better off spending our money some other way. And in fact, he goes so far as to suggest that insulating your loft will help to starve people in Africa because your priorities are wrong. It's really nutty stuff. But
I can't quite follow that one. But
well, no, nor can he, I think. But this is the moronic level of the media handling of this, that they simply don't. I mean, the great majority of senior media executives are not scientists. I went to a meeting of 150 senior television executives a few years ago, and someone asked how many people in this room have got a science degree, and 2 of us put our hands up.
I've got one.
You got one too.
Yeah.
And they just don't understand what science is about. That's the problem. They don't understand what the scientific method is. They don't understand what quality is in scientific evidence. They just think, oh, one person's saying this, another person's saying that, let's throw them together. The fact that one person might have been a climate scientist for 30 years, the other person is employed by a lobby group and was previously working as a campaigner for a smoking company to try to prevent tobacco from being regulated, that is completely irrelevant as far as they're concerned. They've got equal standing, throw them into a studio together, fight it out.
But also, if 99 people are saying one thing and 1 is saying the other, then shouldn't you have 99 of them, or 99 times as much airtime for this side of the argument as that? Because they're kind of, not the BBC, but some people are still putting them up as though it's equally balanced on each side.
I'm not pretending it can be worked out in a mathematical way like that, but it's just that the BBC, like all other media organisations, has a responsibility to portray things as they are and not to just make up a completely fake discourse which doesn't exist out in science outside of the media studios.
Even beyond the media and, you know, all that kind of thing, the BBC is the public service broadcaster. We, humanity, the British people, we're about to jump off the cliff into complete catastrophe. I mean, shouldn't the BBC, as a public service broadcaster, be, you know, pretty much wall-to-wall climate change, how you can stop it, how you can help, how you can adapt, shouldn't they? Shouldn't it be like a war effort?
Yes.
Before we completely slag off all the mainstream media,
just the BBC.
just like to point out this headline on The Guardian, the whole front page in fact, which was the first Monday of Copenhagen, i.e. 10 days ago, whatever it was. And we're going to hear from the deputy editor of The Guardian, Ian Katz, who pulled off this quite amazing feat, which is much bigger than just this page here. Can we see that video? Hi Ian, Franny here, Top 15, how's it going?
It's going well, how's it going there?
Badly, but never mind. Tell us about the brilliant scheme that you pulled off last week.
I'm not sure if it was a brilliant scheme, but it was a small try. We managed to get 56 newspapers around the world to run the same editorial calling for a good deal in Copenhagen. 20-something languages.
And how many papers was it? 55 or something, wasn't it?
56.
56 in 40-odd countries.
40-something countries, yeah, I've lost count now.
Any key players missing?
Well, we didn't have a huge American contingent. We had the plucky Miami Herald, but I think if you're being sceptical about the whole exercise, you might point out the fact that the New York Times wasn't on the list, nor was the Washington Post. And in fact, we lost the Australians as well at the last minute.
But it's kind of a beautiful analogy to Kyoto, isn't it? America and Australia and all that?
Well, I'm not sure I'd call it beautiful. I think it was was hard not to be struck by the kind of parallels with Kyoto. But I think it was just one of those things that gathered momentum in the rest of the world, and then we asked them to play. And some of those papers just sort of feel they're